Matt, James, and Rachel Kirkconell were spotted together in New York City, and sources say they're in a great place. Hey guys, welcome back to another shared news from home. We have all the latest details on Matt and Rachel, but before we get into it, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. As always, I am your host, Fiona Zaring, joined by the wonderful Mariah Davis. Mariah, the saga continues. Let's just dive into these latest details. After being spotted together in California and confirming to People magazine that they are giving it another shot, Matt and Rachel were spotted out together once again back in New York City. And this time, Matt had his arm around Rachel. Now, this may seem like such a minuscule detail, but let's face it, this is the first PDA we've seen, and they have been so incognito up until this point. I mean, we always see Matt with a hoodie on, with sunglasses, with a hat, and now he's got his arm around her in public. So even though it may be a small thing, I feel like it's kind of a big deal. What is your reaction to this, Mariah?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like so far what we've seen, we've only been able to kind of gather, okay, it looks like they're starting to work on things. Maybe it's more like friendly right now rather than romantic. But this confirms everything that we've been assuming is that obviously it's a little romantic, had to be. They were in love with each other at the end of the show. And so it only makes sense. You can't really just snap into it and just be good with being in the friend zone. But yes, this is the first glimpse of PDA. So this is making me think, okay, so there's clearly a solid relationship here, which is interesting because it was not so long ago that we were talking about this like mini scandal of him kind of two-timing Rachel with someone else. So interesting. I don't think we'll ever get any more details on that, but I guess it's safe to say that they are now officially a couple.
Yes, it does definitely seem like things are progressing. A source actually spoke out about it. They talked to E! News and said, quote, Matt and Rachel are working on getting back together, but not putting pressure on their relationship. They added that they are in a great place right now. They talk every day and have seen each other multiple times in the last few weeks. There's so much interest in these two, right? I mean, they have had a journey in Bachelor Nation, let's just say, quite like nothing else we've seen before. Clearly, I mean, we saw their connection on the show. We saw what unfolded, all the controversy afterwards, that very, very tense after the final rose. But they have a seriously strong connection. I don't think anyone out there has really doubted that. I think it's really great that they're trying, like, considering they're giving this another go, which a lot of us, myself included, said would never happen. I mean, it just seemed so crazy. I think it's great that they're not adding any pressure, that they're just kind of doing their best to sort of take it day by day. Because how else would you approach something like this? I mean, honestly, it's really impressive that they've decided to go for it at this point.
I think it's so hard for couples to keep their relationship in the spotlight. And when you form your connection on a TV show that is very, very popular, of course, like that's exactly what you're doing. You are putting yourself in a position to take a lot of ridicule, a lot of opinions from a lot of different people. And that creates a lot of pressure for any couple. But if you add some really major controversy to that relationship, I mean, it's only going to be 10 times worse. So I do, the PDA, it kind of confirms anything that we've been assuming. They are kind of in a relationship with one another and working on that. But because they're keeping things under wraps and kind of more private, I think it's good for them since they are trying to work on something that really pretty much ended their relationship. So like you said, they're not adding any additional pressure. And I think that is going to be crucial for them at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we all watched Matt speak out publicly about how Rachel had a journey to do the work that she needed to go on her own. And at the end of the day, they have been pretty upfront with us at different stages of the game. And now it looks like all they're really asking for is like, okay, we're two people who behind the scenes have clearly had some conversations, figured some things out. We have to live our lives, right? We're going to have to do a certain degree of that in public. So I think it's really brave of them, honestly. And I do hope that they're continuing, like I said, to do things behind the scenes that we don't necessarily need to know about, because that's kind of the only way I think they're going to have a fighting chance. Another source added, quote, they both want to make it work and are still working on their issues. Matt and Rachel both want to get back together and be exclusive. They're taking it slow and seeing where it goes. And another source actually echoed that sentiment, saying the two are working toward finding forgiveness in each other and having conversations about what the future can hold. So the thing is, it's no secret, right? They have a lot to overcome. But like they both said at different stages of this, nothing came from a malicious place. And they clearly did have a really strong connection. So it does feel like at the end of the day, they must just believe that that connection is worth muddying through this difficult water and figuring out if they can really have a fair chance. And I don't know. I mean, if we take a step back and remember that they met on a reality TV show, I don't know that we've seen a connection quite as strong as that in Bachelorland for a while. I mean, to go through so much so publicly and still believe in the love that you found on a television show is almost like baffling to me.
You're so right. They do have so much to overcome. And I think a lot of us are honestly surprised, or were surprised in the beginning, that when we found out that they were going to start working on getting back together. Because during the After the Final Rose episode, Matt said some things that really made us all think like they came to a harsh closing. And it almost seemed a little brutal. I think a lot of us sympathized with Rachel because that was kind of a emotional beating. Not that he wasn't in his right to say those things, because he was, and she needed to hear them. But that definitely made us think like, okay, they're definitely done. You know, he said, if you don't understand something like that was problematic in 2018, there's a lot that you won't understand. And it's as simple as that. And this makes me think, okay, well, she's had to have convinced him that she's putting in the work. She's already done a good job so
Mhm.
far. She's really trying to be understanding. And they obviously have to have like a really solid love connection in order to move past this, or to want to move past this. And I remember thinking, and I have said on this before, I never saw the connection between Rachel and Matt. I was like, what is he seeing? What is she seeing? Like, I don't see the love here. But obviously, that love really exists for one another if they are going to take this on and really overcome something that is really major that separated them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, when you talk about the After the Final Rose, I remember that moment when Emmanuel asked them if they wanted to like have a final hug or something. I don't remember how he worded it. And it was just crickets. I mean, it was so absolutely tense. I think you are so right. There are so many different ways this could have played out. Honestly, if you would have told me that we were going to be seeing Rachel totally rebounding in paradise, I would have believed that before I would have believed we would have been sitting here talking about them reuniting and giving it another go. But yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think that there were so many skeptics out there that just for whatever reason didn't think we would be here. But clearly, there's something that they see within each other that we just haven't been able to, I guess, trust in them. I mean, honestly, we do want everyone in Bachelor Nation to find love. So more power to them. Very happy for them. If this is their journey, if this is what's going to make them the happiest, then like it's so great that they're going for it. Like we've said, we've been skeptical, but I'm starting to turn the corner here. They're really going for it. They know the intense media scrutiny. They know the intense pressure from fans. They know people out there still have questions, yet they are just forging their own path. And like I said, going for it. I'm starting to become a believer, right? If you're feeling like it's worth fighting for it at this stage of the game, at this point, I'm like, wow, they must have the most incredible love story. Cannot wait to see where they go next. Are they starting to convert you a little bit? Are you like thinking this is maybe going to be the real deal?
I don't know. Of course, I don't want to root against anybody like finding love or kind of coming back together. But I just have, again, I might need some more convincing. I don't know. I feel like so much
Okay.
damage was done. And not that I'm still, like Rachel is unworthy. I don't feel that way at all. Nor do I feel that Matt is unworthy. I just have a weird feeling about them. And maybe it's because of the most recent like rumors we heard that I think definitely had some truth to them about him two-timing a little
Mhm.
bit. I guess I'm just a little bit more of a skeptic at heart when it comes to when I first hear a rumor about like two-timing, I'm like, you're canceled. I'm done with you. But again, I don't hope that anybody doesn't work out. So I am rooting for them. I hope that they prove me wrong. And in the future, I think, like we talked about earlier on, I think as long as they can keep things more personal and out of the public eye, it's just going to help them really progress.
Yeah, no. I mean, you raised some great points. Like at the end of the day, as much as we could try to look at it through the rose-colored glasses, like so romantic lens, there's still a lot for them to wade through, for them to figure out. I do not envy those conversations they have to be sitting down and having, or at least I hope they're sitting down and having, because come on, if we from the outside could see how much they need to like really figure out, then I really hope they're putting in that work together behind the scenes as well. You guys, this is just going to be one of those Bachelor Nation couples that keep us on our toes for months and months, if not years to come. I mean, certainly we are not done talking about them. We, of course, want to know your thoughts. This has been quite the journey up until this point. Have you been rooting for them from day one? Are you over it and hope that we see them quietly go their separate ways in the future? Let us know, really. We're dying to know what you guys think about the Matt and Rachel saga. So hit us up in the comments. And of course, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so we can keep you updated on all things Bachelor Nation all the time. As always, I am your host, Fiona Zaring, joined by the absolutely wonderful Mariah Davis. If you want to come say hi, our social handles are on the screen right now. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Bye.